You guys have made 10 of these things. 10! You made 10 of these fucking films. Goddamn 10. 10! Roman numeral X. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10! Not 5, which would be excessive, but 10! 10 fucking holy shit, bastardized, bitching, damning fucking 10! Not 1, not 2, not 3, fucking 10! I'm so upset about it that I'm gonna replace the sin counter ding noise on this video with a sped up version of me screaming 10 of these things! And we will all probably regret it. 10 of these things. Comcast. 10 of these things. Maybe originality ain't worth what it used to be. 10 of these things. 45 seconds of logos. 10 of these things. Movie cares about time but has no regard for the other 3 dimensions. 10 of these things.
There's nothing a father wouldn't do for his son.
Nothing? Hey, Dad, I really want you to eat a whole ghost pepper. 10 of these things. I have a lot of questions about the money in this vault. Why are some stacks up to the ceiling and out of frame, but others waist height? Why do almost all the stacks of neat, tight bills have random, carelessly tossed individual banded bills tossed on like an afterthought? Why are some of these bills green while others are blue? 10 of these things. Oh, Jesus Christ. 10 of these things. Forgetting to put rebar in these concrete bollards. 10 of these things. Well, it's a good thing that all of these police officers are bad guys and none of them are actually just innocent men protecting the police station because this might seem rash. 10 of these things. Also making me repeat sins already addressed in Everything Wrong with Fast 5. 10 of these things. Aquaman Origins. 10 of these things. If you want to do donuts in the Dodger Stadium parking lot, go for it. No security whatsoever, apparently. 10 of these things. Car becomes suddenly airborne without reason. Ha! That would have been a pretty good name for this franchise. The CBSAWRU. 10 of these things.
You're not afraid of anything.
Because he is obviously a Highlander and these movies won't just come out and say it. 10 of these things. Imagine paying however many millions to have your foldable phone show up in a movie and prominently feature its obvious crease. 10 of these things. Ah, sudden Rita Moreno, grandma is sudden. I checked so you don't have to. This is her first appearance in a Fast and Furious movie. But she's grandma, so she's super important and this is kind of maybe 20% of why I hate these fucking movies. They just make up whatever the they want and act like the previous movies don't exist, even though this movie opened with a sequence from a previous movie. 10 of these things. Tej's very funny seat change is undone by the very next shot. 10 of these things. Look at all those Corona Butt family. 10 of these things. Also, why doesn't this family ever eat indoors? Do they like ants? 10 of these things. Making your kid drink orange juice with his backyard cookout food. 10 of these things.
The agency put you in charge and you said I get to drive.
The agency put Roman in charge? 10 of these things.
Tomorrow, a next-gen quantum computer chip will be transported through the streets of Rome.
And these assholes are in LA today so they can all be jet-lagged during the mission. 10 of these things.
I checked Roman's intel. It's legit.
Well, if you checked it.
10 of these things.
Only thing you know about Rome is Roman noodles.
This movie is over 2 hours.
10 of these things.
But you better watch out. Little man's gonna be a better wrench than any of us by the time he's 12.
I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it?
The point of doing the car drills or the point of having a kid?
10 of these things.
Roman asked if he could lead this mission. How could I tell him no?
By telling him no.
10 of these things.
Just what the f is going on here? This grandma character's emerged from the goddamn ether and she suddenly Dominic's Rock of Gibraltar and shit. It's fishy.
10 of these things.
Holy shit, that neighbor's fence is either protecting the Torettos or protecting the neighbor from the Torettos, and honestly, either is believable. The sin is for that fence being so fucking high. Honey, I'm going out to relax on the prison patio. Okay, babe, just don't try climbing over that fence without the Toretto's permission.
10 of these things.
You will be better than me.
Movie thinks telling your kid you will be better than me is inspirational parenting, when in reality, it's a projective, abusive parenting mindset.
10 of these things.
Doc Brown and Marty don't get out of this car and tell us they're here to set right what this franchise has broken in the timeline.
10 of these things.
Also, shot or not, she could easily have parked parallel to the curb.
10 of these things.
I met the devil tonight.
That's all? Shit, I meet that dude damn near every night.
10 of these things.
So after his dad died and he was left with nothing, he somehow grew to a level of power or wealth that he could afford to not only find out who all of Charlize's guards are, but also get to and kidnap people close to each of them? Listen, if he has this kind of power and reach, then this is all theatrics. And he could be in Dom's living room right now with Dom's balls in a vice and his wife in a dunk tank.
10 of these things.
Ingesting the blood of your victims. This is a problem on a whole bunch of levels.
10 of these things.
Running all the electricity in the room through one plug.
10 of these things.
I don't recall anyone calling this elevator. Cypher is a hacker, not a magician.
10 of these things.
Yeah, me and Brian are safe.
Phew. Guess we don't need to worry about them during this international globe-trotting revenge tour against us.
10 of these things.
You and I will finish that driving lesson.
Really? Because at 8 years old, he is really breaking a lot of laws driving a car, especially the way you were teaching it. And you are too, actually.
10 of these things.
No matter what happens, I always keep my promises.
Unkeepable promises about unkeepable promises.
10 of these things.
So can somebody please help me understand how we're pulling off a mobile heist but I don't even get to drive.
Can somebody please let him drive home so we don't have to hear him be irritated at everything all the time for no reason?
10 of these things.
Well, the sooner we break into the truck and steal the chip, the sooner you get to live La Dolce Vita, okay?
Oh, they dragged Fellini into this.
10 of these things.
And now they will pump gas into the cabin through what looks like the transmission.
10 of these things.
Back is blind.
This armored convoy let you get in between them and just kept going? It's not you guys that are good at heists, it's that everyone else is bad at stopping them.
10 of these things.
The truck's being steered remotely.
I'm surprised that you're surprised, because I had thought that was what was happening all along, considering the driver passed out 20 seconds ago and the truck hadn't veered off the road yet.
10 of these things.
Found it. I can disarm it with an agency kill switch.
Holy convenience, Batman!
10 of these things.
We gotta block his path.
I'm gonna get ahead of it.
Letty thinks getting ahead of it with this motorcycle will help.
10 of these things.
The truck's about to go over the hill.
We have to crash into it.
Of course you do. And with no further communication, we will both know that means sandwiching the truck between our cars in a Sistine Chapel maneuver. In France, I believe that is referred to as an Eiffel Tower.
10 of these things.
It's not stopping.
I, too, thought friction would have ground these movies to a halt years ago, but here we are.
10 of these things.
Mando cazzo.
How does this cop not see the sewer great move?
10 of these things.
This is not the sewer of a country known for its cheeses and salted meats.
10 of these things.
The wheels don't fall right the f*** off this car.
10 of these things.
The Prometheus School of Running Away from Things Study Abroad class of 2023.
10 of these things.
I can lock onto your location and transmit cellular interference through your phone. That should jam his detonator and buy us some time.
Tej realizes he is a Deus and that he has a Machina in his pocket.
10 of these things.
This thing is still rolling towards its target because Vatican City was designed like a pinball machine, apparently.
10 of these things.
These wimpy Italian cars get thrown around, but not this American muscle car because it's so damn heavy and gets poor gas mileage.
10 of these things.
So the movie is saying he had time to outrun the bomb's shockwave?
10 of these things.
The Vatican has sustained some structural damage.
No lives were claimed.
Trying to make me believe that the people working on the bridge survived this.
10 of these things.
Reminding me that I'd rather watch Captain Marvel and Jack Reacher have a conversation in Cerebro. I wouldn't even ask any questions.
10 of these things.
Street racers who became hijackers. Graduated to high-speed smuggling.
Describing the progression of this franchise, won't make anything that's going on less absurd.
10 of these things.
And at least one nuclear sub.
I love how the dude is using footage from the movies to accentuate his points. Like, in your world, man, where's camera?
10 of these things.
The real question is, how did we let this go on so long?
I asked the same thing, but someone keeps going to watch these movies. And he apparently goes to see it like 35 million times in the theater.
10 of these things.
They've driven to the gates of hell and back for this agency.
I'll give like 1 or 2 cents back if that happens in the next movie. But for now, I'm adding 1 as a deposit.
10 of these things.
We should be standing with Dom and his family. That is the very least that we can do.
Man, she was great in Room.
10 of these things.
The fallout will be existential.
Did he mean exponential? How can the fallout from a violent bombing be existential?
10 of these things.
When Rome falls, so does the world.
But as long as the Colosseum stands, Rome shall stand, and you just showed us that it was fine.
10 of these things.
Any attempt to contact your team will be traced.
You literally just said,
Your team's gone to ground. They're safe for now.
so what the f*** are you talking about?
10 of these things.
These fake-looking trucks driving past your fake-looking mountains.
10 of these things.
Bring God's Eye online.
I'm so tired of the God's Eye in these movies. It first showed up 4 movies ago.
10 of these things.
Earlier, they literally said Mia and Brian are safe, but Mia is right here, Brianless, babysitting little B at Dom's house in L.A.
10 of these things.
Search everywhere. We need them alive.
You wouldn't have to search anywhere if you tried the doorbell instead of smoke grenades. Everything's a nail with these hammers.
10 of these things.
I know she's tough, but these are agency SWAT guys in full riot gear. Come on!
10 of these things.
Here we have a completely unnecessary bar fight.
10 of these things.
Why is this bartender giving the random stranger a gun?
10 of these things.
Beers. 2 of them.
This is one of those tough guy dive bars that interpret the order of 2 beers as Stella Artois and serve them in the branded chalice as they do.
10 of these things.
Nothing's impossible. You just have to have faith.
Tell that to 8-year-old me about to confidently jump off the roof wearing my homemade cape.
10 of these things.
Why do I feel like the kayak on top of this car is going to be revealed to be some kind of heavily weaponized kayak? Or maybe not even a kayak at all.
10 of these things.
In case you confused it with Agency Blacksite, Connecticut.
10 of these things.
Did they need to keep Letty in a cell designed to contain a child of Krypton?
10 of these things.
It's one of those iconic car parties that no fast movie is complete without because family and boners.
10 of these things.
The most wanted man in the world pulls his signature car into a car racing event in Rio and hundreds of spectators cheer, and this is how you get caught. He won't get caught until he wants to, but still, I don't think the agency even needs God's Eye to find Dom here.
10 of these things.
ball through the city was a bit of an homage to my family's safe, except it was on fire.
Don't act like any of that was on purpose. The only reason it got out of the truck was because they flipped it, and the only reason it was on fire was because it hit those faulty gas pumps completely by accident.
Kennedy thinks.
And I own this city.
This is the greatest scene in American film history. Holy f***.
Kennedy thinks.
So how about we all just start shooting each other and see what happens? Or we race. If you win, you take me in. If you lose, don't lose.
All right, they're gonna settle it mano a mano. Why are there 4 cars lined up?
Kennedy thinks.
I can't believe I'm gonna race the great Dominic Toretto. I have butterflies.
This performance is really distracting. I realize he was probably given notes and direction, but the play it like a 5-year-old hopped up on red Kool-Aid doesn't actually play very well at all. It's not menacing, it's not humorous, it's just distracting.
Kennedy thinks.
The car's on fire, Dom parks directly next to it, pulls the driver out, and then just cuddles her right there next to the burning car.
Kennedy thinks.
Looking this surprised that the person who tried to blow up the Vatican didn't race fairly.
Kennedy thinks.
Every account, every dollar we made over the last 20 years is gone.
This happened to Bruce Wayne in The Dark Knight Rises, and he ended up okay.
Kennedy thinks.
Decrypt the blockchain, I'm on it.
Just decrypt the blockchain.
Kennedy thinks.
The coding is next level.
Next level? Oh no!
Kennedy thinks.
Walking around during live or die heists while wearing several $100,000 of cash money on your person.
Kennedy thinks.
So where do we go to shop off the grid?
I know a place.
Of course you do.
Kennedy thinks.
They drove from LA to Yuma and found a rest stop with this much Daytona 500 swag, even though the United Rentals 500 is right there in Phoenix.
Kennedy thinks.
This movie is 10% shots of this statue, Jesus Christ.
Kennedy thinks.
Your sister smiled with her eyes and led with her heart.
Skip.
Kennedy thinks.
Sometimes I would think that the wrong sister died. Why the good one and not me?
Why, good sister, why?
Kennedy thinks.
A cop and a street racer. I'll tell you something. They traveled down the same road long enough, and they realize how much alike they really are.
Oh, you moving. You would say this about a baker and an accountant if the movie involved quick breads and TurboTax.
Kennedy thinks.
She's still doing it, isn't she? She's still helping people.
Nah, she's dead.
Kennedy thinks.
You started eating this muffin less than a minute ago. Get the out of here with this hallucination starting.
Kennedy thinks.
The hell was that?
You know what it is, bruh.
Movie is just as confused as we are about what happened, so it asks itself a question but doesn't answer it. So I end up asking the internet, which tells me it's a LeBron James reference, to which I reply, f***ing why?
Kennedy thinks.
Cypher is able to pull out a wire that overrides reality instead of just shutting it down.
Kennedy thinks.
Why would the prisoner-patient table have access to the mainframe in order to guess? I should have just yelled, God damn it.
Kennedy thinks.
Anyone that thinks those finger movements did anything but order a coffee. They did not authorize this robot to spring into action.
Kennedy thinks.
Here are several seconds of Fast X learning all the wrong lessons from the MCU about how to shoot combat.
Kennedy thinks.
Like I took the bus.
Talking about public transportation.
Kennedy thinks.
Swearing is for song lyrics only and stub toes.
That.
Kennedy thinks.
That's Rosé. Not gonna work. Long story, but good initiative.
This road trip with Jacob and his nephew is fun, and one of the high points of the movie. I'm sure they wouldn't break this pair up.
Kennedy thinks.
Passenger planes with bomb bay doors.
Kennedy thinks.
Movie says, F you to the previous movie post-credit scene. Justice for Han's hair.
Kennedy thinks.
Should have stayed dead.
I think I might find this awesome if I had any memory whatsoever about the relationship between these two. The only thing I know for sure is that they both died in this franchise and then came back to life, so it's tough to feel too deeply about this fight, if I'm honest.
Kennedy thinks.
You ruined my snacks.
This was written by an AI.
Kennedy thinks.
These agency doofuses are mostly unsuccessful because their plans have zero chill and zero planning.
Kennedy thinks.
Great, he saved Han. Now the internet can safely remove its seatbelt, move about the cabin, and orgasm in its collective pants.
Kennedy thinks.
I only care about protecting the people that belong.
So Dom is Batman now, taunted by the Joker? These movies just get lazier and lazier. Fast 15 will literally be security cam footage of Dom sleeping for 2 hours.
And a little embarrassed you saw my vision board.
Vision board my ass. This is you dumping your Google Photos account onto multiple monitors. I see no creative goals here whatsoever.
Without family, you got nothing.
Sorry, orphans. They are arresting the #1 fugitive in all the world, but they do not put cuffs on him. If this is Antarctica, how did they dig the massive deep hole and pour the concrete for this structure?
So this guy doesn't just want us dead, he wants to erase us off the planet.
You had to see his detailed plans before you figured that out?
You need to see this.
You better come take a look at this cliche. Since he's angry about his mom being in danger, we're forced to watch him load up on guns for all the sometime. Oh no, it's that girl who's the sister of the other girl and who's only been in this one movie.
No!
How does a fucking helicopter sneak up on you?
The gonna be okay, Tess. It went clear through.
Cinemalistic ballistics.
And I messed this thing up every step of the way.
That sounds like a leader.
Oh, all the way off.
Ready.
That kid just did a murder.
Dom, there's really nowhere to land.
Who said anything about landing?
Maybe this is an indication that you need to explain your plan better and not scoff at the fact that normal people don't start their day butt-chugging a bottle of NOS. No one can convince me this movie wasn't written by a child playing with Matchbox cars. Also, Dom's car survives this. This kid just climbed out the back of a speeding car to fix a cannon. Why isn't he biting Dante or punching him in the balls or otherwise behaving like a regular-ass hyper child? He's just sitting here like, well, guess I've been kidnapped. For no good reason that I can think of, Jacob decides to die instead of just not dying.
Dom, you got 1 mile left.
Correction, he's got 4 quarter miles left. Dom just threw a burning helicopter at the moving car his child is in, and I'm not getting lazier as the movie goes on. The movie is getting stupider, so that jokes aren't needed, and merely stating what is happening in the film lampoons the film enough on its own. No! Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got into this mess. The answer is a lot simpler than you might think. I am an idiot.
I'm real proud of you, son.
And I will celebrate as I always do by shifting gears.
Cavalry's here. We got you, Dom.
How the f did these guys with cars inside a cargo plane think they were gonna help in this situation?
Problem is, Ames was mine first.
Movie twists the titty of this plot so hard that I wish we had established a safe word.
And you're gonna die knowing that you couldn't save your son.
No, he's probably just gonna drive down the face of the dam and everything will be fine. That's what's gonna happen, isn't it? Dom is the best driver in the Milky Way, but he can't see a way to drive around one of these 2 trucks. If my calculations are correct, Dom is now driving faster than the expansion of the universe, and those calculations were based on every physical occurrence that has ever happened in a Fast franchise movie. Oh, she's alive again too. The people who love these movies and the people who love soap operas don't have a lot of overlap, but that's weird since they are the exact same thing. They made a 2-hour and 20-minute part 1. There is 0 resolution. None. Vin Diesel could die tomorrow, and then what? I mean, yeah, we'd be sad about him dying, but this movie never gets its part 2. The problem with this new trend of making part 1 movies is that part 2 is never guaranteed. That and there's no emotional payoff whatsoever. Anyway. Say, Vin, Black Adam didn't really pan out, man, and I need a lifeline. What are the odds you can squeeze me back into the F&F movies? And for the record, I was talking about a different candy ass, not you.
You are outside your mind.
What? He has a piston cup?
Oh, you think darkness is your ally? You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
I'm trying to put Tiger Bomb on this jungle's nuts.
Dom, the bomb is out.
Everybody stay clear.
It's gonna
I'm looking for someone.
I know that some scumbag in here knows one of the guys who murdered my wife.
Nobody can.
Nobody would.
Nobody cares. These movies are terrible.
And then he was like, boom, and I was like, blam.
I went down to the beach and saw Kiki. She was all like, eh.
All right, so where to now, huh? Jail?
Little Caesars.
Coolant leak! We have a coolant leak, everybody!
B, what are you doing?
I am the man who grabs the sun riding to Valhalla!
I did a Peter Pan right here off of this dam, right here.